Reconstruction Part III. Reconstruction is the story of how formerly enslaved human beings began to build a future for themselves. During this period, African Americans sought to integrate into the political, social, and economic life in the South. 16 African Americans would serve in U.S. Congress. Over 600 were elected to state legislatures, and hundreds more held local office across the South. Men like Hiram Revels, the first African American elected to the U.S. Senate in 1861, or Blanche K. Bruce, elected to the Mississippi State Senate in 1875. Born a freed slave, Revels was a college graduate. He worked as a preacher in the Midwest in the 1850s, then as a chaplain in the Black Regiment in the Union Army before going to work for the Freedmen's Bureau in Mississippi in 1865. Blanche was enslaved, but he received some education. His background is typical of the kinds of leaders that emerged during this period. One, bedrocked in education. The Freedmen's Bureau was instrumental in building thousands, and let me iterate that for you all, thousands of schools for blacks. They helped to found schools such as Howard University in Washington, D.C., Fisk University in Nashville, Hampton University in Virginia, and countless others. A quote from the American historian David Blight captures just how they saw education as a path to equality. Quote, African Americans embraced education like nothing else. They lined up in droves, old and young, to go to night school, to go to morning school. They would work afternoons and work mornings to enter all manners of buildings that would become freedmen's schools just to achieve basic literacy. What was at stake was a sense of a new future, end quote. This is one of the most enduring lessons of this Black American experience. And if you take nothing else from this episode, take this. A people brought to these shores as chattel, who spent centuries under a sun so that the children of their children of their children can seize an act once illegal and punishable by flogging or death, the act of reading, to use education as a vehicle to prepare themselves for a new life, much like many of our parents did and do so today.